ultimately in today's video, I want to go through a topic that I spoke with a client who's doing very well about the other week. And it was ultimately around how to stay in the game long term, for the long haul. And if you are familiar with investing or business in any way, shape, or form, you've probably heard of the guy called Warren Buffett, right? Very successful guy. Now, you've probably seen, if you're interested in this sort of stuff, you would have seen his growth curve of his income over time. And he's been famed as saying compound interest is one of the great wonders of the world. And it's basically talks about how your wealth compounds over time. So it's time in market, anything to do with shares or whatever. It's not timing the market, as in trying to find the right time. It's time spent in the market is where you actually make your wealth. And how this relates to business is, forget the share market or whatever it is, but it's time in business, right? It all compounds. If you're in business for a week or you're in business for 10 years, it's the last couple of years is where everything just starts taking off, because you're compounding each day, getting 1% better each day, right? And so over time, you become more powerful in your moves and your help, your impact, your biz growth, your income realization. So the ultimate goal of a business owner should be staying in the game long term, right? It's not about short-term bursts, because once again, going back to whether it's in share market, whether it's in business, whether it's anything in life, is everything compounds and builds. And it's the latter period where you see other people like, God, they've taken off, or geez, how'd they get there? It's the latter period of it. And so the goal is to be able to stay in business long term, in the long haul. And I was speaking to a client who's doing really, really well, right? But they haven't had this level of success before. They haven't really had to deal with their finances and manage things before. And ultimately, the number one killer of any business owner, I would say, is stress. Now, you could say the number one killer is not being able to get clients and not being able to bring in money, but that's kind of like a symptom of the cause. The cause that brings stress, and so everything kind of collapses on its head. Right now, there's multiple things that can bring stress. Too many clients, not enough clients, bad team, bad systems, bad whatever it is. But it's ultimately stress is what makes people want to give up, whether that's sell the business or just self-implode and close the business down and just go into hiding. And that is, as a result, the number one thing that makes people jump out of the game early is stress. So being able to manage that stress is incredibly important if you want to be in the game long haul. And once again, as I just mentioned, if you're in the game long haul, that is where you're going to see major success. So that should be everybody's ultimate outcome or goal in business, right? So there's really a couple of techniques and things that all business owners, whether you're starting off and you're small or you're huge, right? You have different stresses, right? Now, a person running $1 billion business or a person running a $2 business, they have different stresses, but it is of no difference in comparison to the volume of stress that person will feel, right? Now, ultimately, we all feel a level of stress based on the environment we're in. Now, if you're making $1 billion decisions or you're making $5 decisions and you only got $5 in the bank account, right? Both are just as stressful as the other. Right? It's not that those starting out shouldn't have stress, or those that are in major business deals or whatever don't have stress as well. It's just you have different levels of stress and people deal with them in different ways, right? Now, the point I'm trying to make is that ultimately there are two things that will help manage any business owner's stress levels and help them stay in the game long term, reduce their cortisols, stop them making ridiculous, stupid emotional decisions, blah, blah, that kill businesses. One, data, right? You need to have your finger on the pulse of the data of your business. Now, this is the most boringest part of business. It is numbers, right? Now, the reason why it's so important is you can wake up one day and you can feel as though things aren't moving forward as fast as you would like them to. You can feel as though things are going great. You can feel as though things are going bad, right? You can have all these feelings, but none of it is feelings aren't grounded in reality. Data is reality. And the amount of times where I've spoken to clients, or even times for myself, right, in business, where you go in and things feel this way or that way or whatever, and when you don't have data, all you can go off is feelings. And sometimes you'll make bad decisions, wrong decisions. You look back and be like, well, why did I do that? And it's like, well, you didn't have any real data to make the decision, so you based it off feelings. And feelings not being grounded in reality means you'll make generally the wrong decisions. So when you don't have data, you base it off feelings, and however you're feeling, whether you're up, down, round, around that day, that is how your business is going to feel, right? Because it's a reflection of your feelings. Now, the number one way to stop that, right, and bring you back grounded to reality is to be able to bring up a spreadsheet and go, that's what yesterday looked like. That's what today looks like. That's what last week looked like. That's what last month looked like. Okay. And you will stop creating a fake reality based on scarcity, abundance, fear, whatever it might be. You have hard data, which is black and white, right? So you can be like, things don't feel like they're growing as fast as they are. And then you bring up a spreadsheet and you go, oh, actually, they're growing exactly as I hoped and everything's all good. And then you get brought back to reality, right? And see how that can instantly stop any spiraling into a non-reality based stress, right? So it brings you back to reality, which is very, very important. The second piece to managing your state is generally what psychologists talk about. What creates depression, what creates unhappiness is living in the past or living in the future, right? And we all talk about mindfulness and being present and all this sort of stuff. What that really is grounded is the same in business, right? Most of us will live in the future in business, right? And what I mean by that is we'll think, I can't wait for 6 months from now when I've got $1 million business, or I can't wait till I do this or I do that, right? So if we're high performers like we all are here and generally entrepreneurs, you're always looking for the next step, the next goal. Like you might have just made the biggest sale of your life and you go, oh, how good's this? You're happy for like 5-10 seconds. And then you sit back down and you're like, when's the next one coming? Or when am I going to 10 times that? Or whatever. Straight away, you're back onto the future, right? So as business owners, it's incredibly important to forecast and have goals and be striving towards those goals because that's what pushes you forward. But on the flip side of it, the negativity or the negativeness that comes from always having future goals, the positive is it keeps you moving forward, right? And you're clear on where you're going. But if you're always living towards that goal, you're never present. And that creates stress, pressure, and unnecessary stress and pressure. So you need to work on being able to A, still have goals and look to the future, but B, being able to balance that so that you still have some presence that can manage your stresses to allow you to stay in business long term, right? And journaling and meditation, now this is, if you've never done it before, you might be like, oh, it sounds like Mummo Joe, but I was that way until one of my mentors kind of challenged me to do it, and I was still not resentful, but didn't really want to do it because I'm like, oh, I don't think I need that. And it wasn't until I started doing it that I saw the value of it, because journaling journaling is about, like, for example, at the end of the day, I'll write down 5 things that I was really happy about today, right? And then I write 3 things I want to do tomorrow to make tomorrow a great day. And that's future gauging, right? So I'll look at the present, 5 things that I was really happy about today that made today amazing, right? Just before I go to bed, I'll write that down. It takes a minute, right? And then I'll write 2 or 3 things that are going to make tomorrow a great day, right? I have 30-day plans, I have 60-day plans, I have all of these goals, visions, 12 months, so on and so forth. So I'm always in the future. But journaling, and sometimes, effectively, I've got an app. It goes for like 2 or 3 minutes in the morning. I'll do like a mindfulness or a present or a breathing, listen to it. It's 2 or 3 minutes, it's nothing. And all that does is just bring you back to the present. So I know I always have the future casting stuff, and I always will. But by putting in a journaling that takes a minute at night, and every morning, I challenge myself for the last 3 months to every single morning spend 2 minutes listening to a mindfulness breathing meditation thing on Spotify. It's free, it's easy. It has added in a level of bringing me back to the present and being happy with the present, but still having my future goals as well. And this is something I've brought into my life over the last couple of years. And the reason why I challenged myself over the last 2 months is it's something that I was probably doing once a week, once a month. It wasn't as in the habit of doing it as I was before. And so I challenged myself for 60 days to do it every single morning. And now I'm back in the habit and it just comes naturally. So once again, goals, future setting, future gazing, amazing, very important. But you need to add in an aspect of being present, right? So you can celebrate the things you did that day, right? And then also look forward. So you're balancing off living in the future, living in the present. And data rather than feelings. The two most important things you can do at any level you are in business that every business owner should be doing. I highly, highly recommend it. It is literally, like I said, 2 or 3 minutes per day in the meditation or journaling and data. And if you don't have data and you think data is boring and it's stupid, that's probably one of the reasons why your business ain't growing and it won't grow, right? So it is critically important. It is boring, yes, but it is so important. So if you want to grow, it's just like, some people could say dieting and going to the gym's an effort. Well, getting data in your business is an effort, but it's important, right? And it's something you should strive for. So get clear on what you need to. Don't drown in data. Don't drown in numbers. That's not important. You should really have like 3 or 4 numbers that are very easy to get. Takes you 5 minutes, right? And that's all you need, right? But having that day in and day out is absolutely critical in conjunction with the journaling and meditation side of things. If you do those, I promise you'll be in this game longer than all your competitors. When they all fizzle out and burn out and disappear, you'll still be sticking around. And the compounding effect of years of that is just incredible. So hopefully that helps. Hopefully that if you're feeling as though your business is too slow, too fast, too big, too small, whatever it might be, and it's causing you to not enjoy the journey, then let me tell you, you're only going to be on that journey for a short time, and that it ain't worth your energy and your life to try and have a crack at business for a short period of time. It is being in for the long haul, doing the right things, and that's where the true value and impact on numerous clients' lives comes from. So if you don't action any of those things yet, please take action on them today. Challenge yourself over the next 30 days. Bring out a pen, write it down, put it in your phone, put on an alarm every single day, whatever it might be. Challenge yourself, have reminders that you're challenging yourself to this, and after 30 days it'll become a habit and become something extraordinarily easy, and you'll find you don't need the alarms and reminders, whatever, because it'll just be something that you look forward to and you understand the value of. So hopefully that makes sense. If you've got any questions on any of it, feel free to shoot out an email, or you can reach out to me on social medias. Chris@tribefit.co is my email, or you can go to tribefit.co as the website as well. Hopefully this video brings you value and allows you to stay in business the long haul and recognize and achieve the successes that you should.